Hi, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Liftoff with Jeanniey Walden. I'm your host, Jeanniey Walden, and we have an incredibly exciting lineup for you today. We're celebrating Mental Health Awareness Month with insights, tips, and laughter from some of your favorite furry friends. Yep, I said that, as well as some of the best entrepreneurs and wellness experts out there. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Sit back and get ready to learn a few things, get inspired, and get moving in the right direction. Sesame Workshop is launching new resources during this Mental Health Awareness Month to support children and families. The new resources expand on existing emotional well-being resources. I can't believe I've got the most incredible guest to talk about it. Welcome to Liftoff, Elmo, Rosita, and Rosia.
Hi, Jeannie. Hi, Jeannie. Good morning.
Hi, it's so great to see you again.
Oh, well, we're so happy to see you.
Yes, thank you for having us.
I'm so excited to speak with all three of you today. I wanted to check in and see how you're all doing today.
Oh, we're almost feeling excited today. Yeah, thank you for asking. Yeah, and I'm feeling so happy today because I'm talking to you and Elmo and Rocio.
Yeah. And I'm feeling grateful to be here.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm feeling so happy to speak with all three of you today, and I love feeling happy. Elmo, you recently asked the world how they were doing, and so many people were so excited to share their feelings with you. How did that make you feel?
Elmo was excited to hear from friends all around the world to learn how they were doing. Yeah, and Elmo's daddy told him that it's important for people to talk about their feelings. Because some people were feeling really happy, but some of them were having a hard time. So it's very important to ask people how they're doing and to listen too. Right, Miss Rocio?
Oh, yes, you were a great friend.
Thank you. You too. Yeah, he is.
Oh, well, that is so nice. My dad told me the same thing too. And my mom always tells me that I have to not only talk about things, but take care of myself. Rosita, do you take care of yourself too?
Oh yes, of course. I love to take care of myself, like eating my healthy foods, my fruits and vegetables. Yeah, it's very important, not just for my body, but also for my brain, because my mommy says that not just my body gets healthy, but my brain too.
And
Mm-hmm.
that is so important. And Rocio, I know that you've been responsible for launching some new resources with Sesame Workshop. Can you tell me about those quickly?
Yes, well, thanks to the support of United Healthcare, we have new resources on sesame.org around emotional well-being for children and families. And this time around, we're giving more toolkits, more strategies for everyday challenges, but also more information around serious concerns.
Rosita, I have one more question for you. Do you
See?
like to be kind for do you like to be kind to yourself?
Oh, absolutely. So, my papi told me that I have to be kind to myself, like I'm like to talk to a good friend. Like, the other day I made a mistake and I remember when my daddy told me to be kind to myself and I went, whoops! I made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes sometimes, right?
Absolutely,
So I
absolutely.
said, it's okay, Rosita, you can do it. And that works very well for me. And that's a very good way of taking care of myself.
And that is such great advice. Elmo, do you like Rosita's advice?
Well, Elmo thinks that Rosita is very, very smart. Yeah, Elmo would take that advice, Rosita. Oh, yes, thank you, Anito.
Well, I think you are all very smart. And Rosita, Elmo, Rocio, thank you so much for coming on my show today and talking about everything about feeling wonderful.
Oh, well, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Muchas gracias. Have a wonderful
Muchas
day.
gracias. So many great lessons from Elmo, Rosita, and Rosia, and so many great resources. Be sure to check them out and stay tuned. We've got a great guest coming up next. Hey, everybody, welcome back. You're going to love our next guest, Rebecca Silence. She is not just changing lives, she's redefining family happiness for audiences all around the world. She is an award winning author, coach, and media personality, and her mission is so clear and so achievable. She really wants to ensure that every child just grows up with healed, joyful parents, and that every couple discovers a love that's not just sustainable, but blissfully transformative. Through her unparalleled experience in healing generational trauma, Rebecca turns the dream of harmonious, love filled homes into an accessible, everyday reality. I know, right? It's so exciting. Rebecca, I'm so excited to have you on Liftoff and possibly to share some of your own story of resilience and triumph and the 16 years of successes that been bringing to everybody around the world. Welcome to the show.
Well, Jeannie, thank you for that gorgeous introduction and for all the gorgeous work you do in the world. It's an honor to be here.
I was so excited when I found out that you were going to be coming on the show because I was just talking to one of my girls who just graduated college about the fact that every family's crazy and everybody has to deal with family challenges throughout their entire lives and they just change and get different. But as my grandma said, if we all took our dirty laundry outside and put it in the street, would walk around, pick up our own, and take it back home. So,
Yes.
my first question to you is there such thing as a perfect family?
Absolutely not. But here's the thing, what is possible is to break the inherited trauma cycles that get passed on generation after generation so that we can do family our way as healed adults. That is actually not ethereal, it's a real possibility.
That's amazing because I feel like so many people could utilize that and understand. So if this is something that sounds even vaguely interesting to all the people that are watching and listening right now, how do they find out about getting started with something like this? Is it something that just personally they want to do? Do they have to engage the entire family, the extended family? How does it work?
Brilliant question. So this audience, you're all established leaders and or emerging leaders. So leadership isn't new to you. And paving a trail that you haven't seen before just because you're up for the challenge and just because you can, that isn't new for you either. And the thing is, we're already so good at what we do professionally and so successful at work. And what happens often at home in our family is we're not applying the leadership skills that have gotten us so far already to life at home. So, no, everyone doesn't have to be on board. It took my husband, I'm on my second marriage. The first marriage was domestic violence. And I just was determined I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to do it my way. And it took about 5 years for my current husband to be able to come to me and say, hey, here's what I want. Here's what I need. Here's how I feel. I modeled it 5 years first. But see, so often we don't even know what we want because we're so good at anticipating the needs of those on our teams, our clients, even the people at home, versus saying, hey, what do I want? And then modeling and leading in intimacy and vulnerability at home, even if other people don't get it yet, is okay. And actually, the only way you're going to transform family at home.
Is this something that will only work if you're in your 40s or 50s? Does it work when you're a teen or in your 20s? Like, does it work no matter what age you are?
Yes, it works once you decide you're unwilling not to have it. High functioning happiness at home has to become a decision that you're unwilling not to create if you're going to create it. Because societal norms say good enough is good enough, right? All families are crazy, right? Dysfunction, family, they go together like peanut butter and jelly. But I'm here to help you disrupt what family is in terms of societal norms so that you can create whatever you want. And we're all born with a dream of love and a dream of family, but we play out the dynamics we grew up with without meaning to. And one of the things that I teach is that your current levels of dissatisfaction at home are directly correlated with how dissatisfied you were growing up with your family of origin. We play it out
Interesting.
all over again, but we don't even realize that's what's happening. And I have a client in her early 20s who's thriving in her business, is now pregnant with her second baby, and they are taking this on. Her and her boyfriend are doing family their way. And it's just because my client said, I want this. And her kids motivated her. And again, you don't need a crisis or a breakdown to say, hey, what am I doing? The thing is, someday's going to come never. It's a decision.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It sounds so empowering. And to help everybody wrap their arms around this and get excited about it, you've written a book. Why don't you
I
tell us about
have.
that
Yes.
and show us your book?
I will. So, coming back to life, this is my heart here for you. It's my trauma story to help you connect to yours. And that word trauma, it's so heavy, right? But I think healing is freedom. And everyone has experienced heartbreak, trauma. No one's immune to it. So, this is my roadmap. It's a roadmap to healing from pain to create the life you want. I think what we all want to be when we grow up is loved. We all
I
want to be
agree.
loved. We all want to have a gorgeous experience of family. And I grew up as a incest survivor, domestic violence survivor, and I created my own domestic violence marriage, the first marriage, because it didn't matter that I understood. I had a 4.0 GPA in my counseling master's degree, but we create and recreate what we haven't healed yet. So I want the trauma conversation to be liberating and empowering. I want you to know how to use trauma to your advantage so you can create the life you want at home, especially because, again, at home, if you're in a joy filled, peaceful home life, my God, the sky is the limit with the impact you can have.
I love it. I love it. And thank you so much. I know this is going to be hard to top, but stay tuned because we've got other great guests coming up. Hey, everybody, welcome back. I'm so excited about our next duo. We've got a surprise for you at the end, but let me start out by introducing you to Lara Eurdolian. She's a New York based entrepreneur, TV, beauty, fashion, and lifestyle editor. And not only that, she has launched an accessories line called Pretty Connected that went viral in 2020. I am sure you remember it, but even more so, she's a media guru who loves animals. She's a huge animal advocate since rescuing her senior Pomeranian, who's so cute and may make an appearance today from the lobby of a hotel through a foster program while on a press trip. And how crazy is that? Her incredible story turned into a children's book that made her an Amazon bestseller, and she's so regularly in the media promoting animals and adoption. Lara, thank you so much for coming on Liftoff.
Thank you for having me.
I have so many questions. We could talk forever. So this is going to be a tough interview for me to keep it to just a few minutes. But let's start with your professional career in the beauty industry. You've done some really incredible things. Tell us how you even got started in a career like that.
Yeah, so out of college, I went to the Fashion Institute of Technology, and I was so lucky because someone I actually played tennis with was interning at NARS Cosmetics in product development. And there was an opening in international, and I was an international trade and marketing major. So that's what really set me on a beauty career. And NARS is such a fun makeup brand, especially when I started out there. We were doing fashion weeks and so many fun, creative things. So that's what launched kind of my marketing beauty experience.
Tell us how you decided that Charlie and everything they did with Charlie's book and just your whole focus on animal advocacy and adoption came about.
Yeah, so I just think anything you do is about branding, right? So I kind of have a very similar formula, whether it's in beauty, launching an accessories line, launching a children's book, and we've been very blessed to get a lot of media attention. But I always say, as somebody who's an editor and has worked a lot with brands and gotten pitched a lot from brands, the same thing when I do on air work, I know what I'm looking for when somebody approaches me, and I have to have what I need to take that brand and put it on air. But there would be days where I'd be like packing orders all night, then getting in a dress and quickly jumping on a Zoom to do an on-air appearance. And it was the wild, wild time. And then of course, the pandemic died down. I got back into my beauty groove and fashion groove with doing things. And, I still love all my chains. We still sell them now. We have a warehouse. So I'm not, we're very limited in hiring during during a pandemic. So, but I had the time, so that worked. But I wanted to go back into the world, do events, cover things. So that was really a great time to do that and then like rejoin the world again. And then amidst this, Charlie, who I rescued from the lobby of a hotel while I was on a press trip, he was 10 years old at the time. Like, Charlie, come join the party. He was 10. He just turned 18. And, I just loved him. He was so sad. Nobody wanted him because he didn't quite look this good at the time. And I just felt so bad. And they said, he probably has like 6 months to a year. And I was like, I can give him a happy life. That opened me into such a world of senior dogs, dog people. And everyone loved Charlie's story. I actually have it right here. And the whole book his whole experience reads like a children's book. You can see there's a bunch of animals on the cover. All
Yeah, yeah.
Fawns, turtles, bunnies, they're all real characters from the property. And I would sign Charlie out every day as
Mm.
part of, I know, it's so cute. You're such a sweetheart. As part of the adoption, process, or not
Oh,
even the
bless
process.
you.
Yes, can do that. Kind of bless you, buddy. You can literally, sign up the dog, and it's a great way to socialize them. So I did that every day, and we would go on these little adventures on the property. And then a lot of my friends have adopted kids, so I wanted a book with, a bigger meaning that wasn't heavy. It's like a fun book. Everyone's cheering for Charlie. He's a tour guide of a hotel. He loves his friends. His friends love him. He loves his job, but he's looking for his forever family. Especially as he's seeing all these families throughout, the hotel experience of them checking in. And, spoiler alert, he meets them at the end and everyone cheers and he moves to New York City. And, it sets you up for hopefully a sequel
Amazing.
to get more time. But yeah, so we did that during the pandemic. We wrote it and it's been such a fun adventure and it's launched me into the animal world, even though I kind of thought it would be, and it is in the children's end. And also a lot of parents who've been adopted, which I wasn't thinking about, have really enjoyed the book and written me being like, this is a great way for me to tell my child about how I was adopted. And I just love that. But yes, we're now on some gala committees for animals. We do a lot in the rescue. For his 18th birthday, we actually did a dog rescue party.
A lot of people that are fans of what we talk about at Liftoff, which is work-life blend, and a lot of the people that have had careers for 20 years or have been staying at home to raise their kids are always asking, what advice should they follow if they want to follow their dreams, but they're afraid to take a risk? Is it too late? Are they too old? What three things would you tell somebody asking you that same question?
I mean, the first is networking. We covered it really well, but yes, network with your other moms, network with your other, former people you worked with, or just in general, like join a meetup, there's so many opportunities. The second is, do you have the skills and for what you're trying to do? And if not, who can you ask for help? A lot of people are not good at asking for help, or just, can I take you to coffee? And then I put the third thing kind of mixed in with that is people are very afraid of rejection. So I always say you've got to just try as part of it. And from learning skills, the internet is top tier here. You can learn so much from so many different webinars or so many, take a class. So I think trying to figure it out also just helps when you're with people. I would also backtrack and say, would you hire you is what I say. Is it because you're organized? Is it because you're really good at just taking tasks or creating decks or doing, figure out what your skills are and why that's of value to somebody. And then it gets a little bit easier.
I love your little test. Would you hire you? Would you
Yeah.
hire you for what you're trying to do? And I think that is a perfect way to end our conversation and leave it to the audience. Whatever your dream is and whatever you're trying to accomplish, figure out how to get there, ask for help, but then ask yourself, would you hire you for the same role? And I think you're set for success. Lara, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was such a fantastic conversation.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us.
All right, absolutely. Everybody stay tuned. We've got some more great guests coming up next. A few weeks ago, I had the tremendous honor and opportunity to actually witness history being made. I couldn't believe it. You all remember Frances Tesmer, our beauty and wellness expert. She's been on the show so many times talking about Lead Rolf's Global Institute, the very first Bachelor of Science program for people in the beauty industry. Well, guess what? The first class graduated, and I had an opportunity to be there firsthand and watch it happen. And I have to tell you, I got chills listening to everything Francis and the professors had to say, but even more importantly, hearing firsthand from the mouths of those who graduated in the inaugural class was inspiring. Congratulations to everybody who was part of the inaugural graduation class for Lead Rolf Global with your Bachelor's of Applied Science. I'm so proud of you. And Francis, you know I'm always proud of you. Lynwood Bibbens, also known as Woody, is a serial entrepreneur, and he's the CEO and founder of ReachTV, the largest streaming TV network targeting travelers. He's got distribution across 90 airports, 2,500 screens, and streaming into over 500,000 hotel rooms across North America. I can't even begin to list all of the successful exits, mergers, acquisitions, and growth that Woody has created across his career. He's built businesses, technology, e-commerce, and he has created some of the most incredible solutions you can think of out there. That's enough about me talking about him. Let's get started and talk all about you being an entrepreneur.
Every week we had somebody in, from Linda Yacarino to my buddy John Amato to Ryan Law to whatever. And we said, we're going to be the most innovative company out there in the space. And we're going to redefine how we look at television and delivery and engagement and what. And we literally, everybody went crazy. And we said, forget about what you know and do it. Yeah. What would you do ideally? And from there, many of the things we do today were born from that time frame. And we now, it's part of us now. We're an innovative company all the time, and we always think about, what if, could you do this? And we don't care. It's part of that. So anything out session is not, I don't care about nothing that's going. You're not allowed to complain about anything. You're not allowed to talk about anything. It's like unlimited possibilities. And from those unlimited possibility ideas responds the innovation that we lean on. I have a philosophy. I've had it for, this is my 8th company I started and founded. And my philosophy has always been fail fast and fail often. While other people are testing for a year, I've already failed, saw it, moved, and already on the 7th, 8th version. So I know they can't catch me because they're still on that first version. I know doesn't work.
And that might be your superpower. After everything you've said, your superpower might just be your belief in yourself and your belief in your idea. Because you've got some crazy great experience. I mean, you just don't build companies or scale them. And I know that's what you talk about, but you do that through mergers, you do it through acquisitions, you do it through investment, you do it organically. And that's a pretty diverse strategic platform to work off of versus, people who just come in and they're good at organic growth or they're good at transformation through cost elimination. But you tend to look at the whole picture and just look for value, which I think is what's so exciting.
Yeah, I think I'd simplify it, because I look at all the things you just mentioned as ways of doing it. I don't limit myself on ways we can do anything. And then maybe that's the difference. I do hear people saying, well, I just do this. And I'm like, in this day and age, I don't just do anything.
Well, now you've got AI that can do it all for you. So I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, how you think AI is going to play a role in everything you're doing at Reach or just in the future. I was talking to somebody yesterday and they were saying that in the future, the biggest influencers are going to be AI generated people. We went from individuals like a Lucille Ball back in the day with that, her shows and the chocolate going across the manufacturing plant. People fell in love with a real person. And then you moved into characters like Flo or Jake from State Farm, who are someone that you can identify with, but that's not really a real person. And now you've got just AI generated, personalized bots coming out.
I'll say a couple of things. Number one, I'll go back to culture. I'll talk about data and then AI. So we've been using AI as a way to look at how we do our advertising and how we drop it in and what we put in and how we put it in based on time of day, based on all these kind of things. So we've been using what I would call like an automated version of an artificial intelligence for about 4 or 5 years, right? So we've been really going against working on that part of it. I've been looking at AI as a way to look at who's watching the screens, and then deciding on so we do programming almost like a program goes this way, and then we have verticals down this way. And so all different options based on who's there. So we're looking at how we automate that even further using artificial intelligence and other things. So from a programming perspective, from a trafficking perspective, we like the idea of this. When it comes to what you're talking about, there's two things that I would watch, and I've seen so far that AI hasn't gotten right. Number one is I'm not confident on the data going in, and I watch that, and there's a lot of bias on data going in, and I'm asking questions that come back very slanted that don't make any sense. So we as a society as a whole, that's one of the biggest threats we have, is we need to have regulation, government slow to catch up, and they need to catch up pretty quickly because this goes really fast on regulating how that data, what data actually gets inputted, because that's my problem with it. Secondly, when you talk about AI generated things, I've seen some of them. Right now, they're not there because they missed cultural nuance at this moment. Will it get better? Yes. Will it go all the way? I don't know. But I would say to you that people matter. And I think what we need to do is look at how we interact with each other. And part of that problem, what we're really talking about is when you talk about AI taking over, it's because we are allowing ourselves to be consumed by a phone in our hand instead of the people around us. The one place where that doesn't happen is when you watch live sports. And when you watch certain things, you see a community and an engagement that you can never get from AI. And that's where we got to look at how do we start to teach our youth, or do we stop? Like many countries, nobody under 13 even has a phone. Because they understand the impact of that, right? Because now you're turning them into the screen controls them, not them controlling themselves. So I think there's a way of doing this where AI can be very beneficial. And I think that there's plenty of jobs and plenty of ways in which humans are really going to be able to chart their own course. But I do think that intelligence will grow super fast, and we need to kind of make sure we're ready for what will happen and what jobs you'll need and how we're going to process things. I think that most people are making it out to be something over here when it's been a part of the ecosystem. I think the most important thing for some of the industries that we're in is blockchain, and the ability to really look at your product and be able to control how many times somebody uses your product and making sure you're properly compensated. And then also be able to track where that product moves all the way through the ecosystem. I think blockchain can be the savior for artists, musicians, actors, content production companies.
Yeah.
I think they're not properly compensated. And, I've sat on the other side of financing them and distribution. So I understand the mindsets on both sides. And I think that the great equalizer could be blockchain.
This has been awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah, thank
much
you.
for spending some time today.
All right,
Very
thank
exciting.
you.
Okay, everybody. Well, that is it for this show. I hope you're feeling smarter, better, healthier, and that you're going to go out and have an incredible day. Until next time, I'm Jeanniey Walden. Check out Liftoff with Jeanniey Walden anywhere we stream or air. And don't forget to follow us on social at Liftoff with Jeanniey. Until next time.
The proceeding was sponsored by Liftoff Enterprises, LLC.